And also, I just, you know what I'm saying, like a nigga to take charge, you know what I'm saying? Get me together, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm talking back, you know what I'm saying? But actually, can we talk about that real quick? Because
just see those sleigh bells jingling, ring, tingle, tingling. I'm on the lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you. Outside, snow is falling.
yes, sir! Welcome back, you guys. It is day 5 of Vlogmas, and we just gonna keep it going. So I'm gonna get right into it. I just wanted to get on here and share my thoughts today with you guys about this topic because I think it's a really hot topic and I want to talk about it because I feel like it pertains to me. So I'm gonna be telling you guys why I prefer a submissive relationship. So the first thing that I want to do before I say anything is tell you need to like this video. You need to like it, and you need to comment, and you need to subscribe because it helps my algorithm. It helps my algorithm, and it lets YouTube know that you guys enjoy my videos so that they can push them out so that more people can see it. So let's jump right into it. So the first thing that I want to do is eradicate all negativity and negative descriptors around submissive relationships. So first of all, a healthy submissive relationship is not manipulative, it's not abusive, it's not controlling, it's not any of those things, right? A healthy submissive relationship just means that you trust your partner to make wise decisions for the relationship. You trust him to lead you spiritually, mentally, you just trust him to lead the relationship. It's not like as soon as he says to do something, you drop what you're doing and you do it because, you know what I mean? It's not like that. It just means that you trust him to uphold the well-being of the relationship. And so I was just talking to somebody about this actually, and I was saying that a lot of times men will expect women to be submissive, but they don't bring a dominant energy to the table, if that makes sense. For example, I think that if you want me to be submissive in the relationship, you need to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to be someone who I know is like if there's an issue that arises in the family, I know that you're gonna lead us to making good decisions. And if you can't do that, then it doesn't make sense. Also, financially, I think that if you want to have a submissive energy, you can't expect somebody to come in and split the bills because now we're splitting the dominant role. So how can I submit to somebody who wants me to be an equal in that way? If that's the case, then we need to change the dynamic of the relationship because now it's not that. And I also want to touch on this because this is a sensitive subject for a lot of men. As soon as guys hear, I want you to pay all the bills, what they actually hear is now I'm being taken advantage of, when in actuality, that's not the case. Men are supposed to be the providers. Now, let me say this. I recognize that there are a lot of different dynamics in relationships, but if we're talking about a dominant submissive relationship, I think that men need to step up in terms of that, right? That doesn't mean that just because you're paying all the bills that the woman is just gonna sit back and lay on her back and not be doing nothing all day. But in terms of that is your responsibility. My responsibility is for taking care of the home, making sure that the family is good and everyone's well-being. That's my responsibility. And I think that we have to understand that if a man is gonna step forward and say, I'm gonna be a provider, he needs to provide in all aspects. You know what I'm saying? Niggas know when they're being taken advantage of, and I don't think that's a situation where they are. I also want to say a lot of our beliefs, choices, values, standards are influenced by the things that we believe. So if you're religious, if you have a religious affiliation, your choices are probably influenced by your religious affiliation. So for example, I'm a Christian woman. So I just want to explain like what Christianity looks like to me. I understand that God accepts everybody how they are. Everybody's journey is different. And I'm not saying like I'm a Christian woman, so I believe in the old like Victorian system. Man is supposed to be in public and women are supposed to be in private. I don't believe in that. I just think that the Bible talks about how the man is supposed to be the head of the household. And because I'm Christian, I want to live up to those standards. And also, it makes sense to me. The kind of personality that I have, I want to be able to be in a situation where I know that my man can lead us if we're having issues. Obviously, my personal issues are my own. If I'm having some kind of internal conflict, I'm gonna deal with it on my own. Like, I don't just stop making decisions for myself, and I don't just stop showing up as the woman that spent half of her life in school and did all of these things and accomplished all this stuff just because there's a man involved. No, I'm gonna still like have my individualism and maintain my career and personality and sense of self. It's just that when we come together, I respect him as being the leader of the house. I think that sometimes submissive relationships can look like a controlling situation because, you know, there are relationships like that, but when that's the case, I don't believe that that's a dominant submissive situation. I just think that that's a straight up abusive situation, and we can't mislabel that as dominant submissive because that's just wrong. Like, I think that there's a right and wrong way to execute submissive and dominant relationships, and when you get into the abuse side, it's just wrong, and we shouldn't be dealing with that as women. We need to still be respected. Like, if your man loves you and he respects you as the person that submits to him, he's gonna respect you and make you feel like a queen, because essentially that's what you're supposed to be. Like, he's not gonna treat you like it's not gonna be like the dog and the dog owner kind of thing, but he's gonna treat you as his equal, but he knows that at the end of the day you submit to him, if that makes sense. So it's not like when he has friends over, you can't say nothing, because if anybody knows me here, everybody knows that I don't deal with stuff like that. Like, that's not the kind of person I am. If I got something to say, I'ma say it. If I'm annoyed about something, it's gonna be known. Like, I'm not the type of person to just, you know, let him express how he feels and I don't say how I feel. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about making decisions. Like, making decisions and understanding that there's a leadership role is, you know what I mean? And then you have the argument of, well, why do we give so much power to the masculine energy? Why do we give so much power to the masculine energy? Again, it all boils down to what you believe. So if you're anti-establishment, if you're super progressive and all of this other stuff, I'm progressive too, but I don't think I'm like radical with it, you know what I mean? Then you're gonna feel like anybody can have the dominant role. Like, it doesn't have to be the man, and that's okay. I even had somebody tell me that it's toxic to expect a man to show up and be the provider. It's not toxic. We have to understand that there are multiple relationship dynamics, and as long as it is clearly communicated and agreed on both sides, there's nothing wrong with that. I talk about, in a previous video, I talk about how you got niggas that show up and feel like women are supposed to pay all the bills. You got niggas that show up and feel like it's supposed to be 50-50, and then you got niggas that show up and they want to provide. As long as both people are okay with the situation agreements and the variables around the situation, there's nothing wrong with saying, I want a man that I can be submissive to. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I also think that sometimes men will expect women to be submissive, but they don't know how to be a dominant personality. You know what I mean? Like, they want you to play house. They want you to come there, clean their shit up, wash their dishes, do all of this, wash their drawers and all of this other stuff, but they're not showing up as a provider. Like, they're not showing up as that. So it's just like, you have to expect what you expel. So if you're really expelling a submissive masculine energy, then you need to get something that pairs with that, because it's not fair to expect a woman to show up and be submissive to you being this energy that isn't compatible with that. I remember I was talking to this guy a few months ago, and he was like very much giving off dominant masculine, you know what I'm saying? But then said to me, well, because I'm somebody who pays my own bills, because I live alone, that's why. But he said to me, well, okay, this is what he said to me. He said, if you're in a situation where you pay all of your bills right now, right? Why would you move in with a nigga and expect him to pay all of the bills if you were doing that before? Because I'm living on my own. I don't have a man. I don't have somebody who I'm not in a relationship. So of course I'm gonna pay my own bills. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not dealing with anybody. So of course I'm gonna pay my own bills. But once I get into a situation where I'm with a man, that's the kind of situation that I want. I'm going to live up to my role as a woman and because the only time I'm gonna move in with a nigga is if I'm engaged or if I'm married. I'm not shacking up with nobody. I don't believe in that. If you do that, there's nothing wrong with that. Let me be clear. If that's what you choose, remember what I said, life is about choices. If that's what you choose to do, that's fine. But for me, that's not the kind of situation that I want with somebody. I want to live with somebody who I know has intentions to be with me the rest of their life. I'm not signing a lease with no nigga just to break up and now the lease, the credit is everything is bad. Like, I'm not doing that. That's not the kind of situation that I want. But anyway, yeah, like I was just trying to explain to him that if I'm alone, I'm gonna be paying my bills alone. But if I'm with somebody, like, it needs to, you know what I'm saying? So I don't understand like where he was really coming from with that. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. I feel like niggas don't be knowing how to show up as men. Like, I really feel like that. I feel like niggas be showing up as like, there's this, and there's nothing wrong with, but listen, I just feel like niggas be showing up with all this masculine energy, but it's really that disguised as feminine energy, and they just don't know what to do with it. They don't know what they want. You need to know what you want out of a relationship so that you can communicate it to somebody, because I'm just not with all the unspoken like rules that we have to abide by because it's societal, all of this. Like, I need to know very clearly what kind of nigga you are and what you want, because I know what kind of woman I am and I know what I want. And through the different relationships that I've been in, because I've been with a lot of different kinds of men. I've been with the anime niggas that like the Yu-Gi-Oh cards and the running up the walls and shit like that. I've been with the super terrible hood niggas that don't have jobs or anything going for themselves. I've been with smart niggas that have somewhat of a college education but still live with their parents. And I've been with super accomplished and successful niggas that, like, I've been with a whole doctor, you know what I'm saying? So I've had a chance to experience a lot of different personalities and relationship dynamics to know now, like, at this point, the next person that I deal with or, you know, give myself to, I need that. Like, I really respect that kind of situation, because it's just, to me, it feels more like a commitment, you know? Like, I feel like every day I have something to live for. I have, like, for me, I'm driven by discipline, if that makes sense. Like, I'm driven by things that are structured and disciplined. So I know that if I have a relationship where there's a dominant presence, I have something that I can, you know, continuously work for. I don't like the idea of a relationship that's lazy. Like, I don't like the idea of waking up every day and doing the same thing over and over and over again and over and over again, just in different skin. Like, you do it when you're 20 and then you're 50 and you're doing the same thing, but now you're just 50 and old, is overwhelmingly bad. I cannot. Like, I need something that's like, I'm putting work into it so that I can enjoy the fruits of my labor. Like, I need to know that, like, my relationship is something that I work at. My relationship is something that I fight for. My relationship is my priority, so that now when things get bad, the foundation that we have to lean on is strong because we've done so much work to build it together. You know what I'm saying? Not that you can't do that with other dynamics. Not that you can't do that with a submissive dynamic or a dominant submissive or a submissive, you know what I'm saying? Not that you can't do that with that, but for me, I know that a relationship like that to me could look like something that I could truly work for. And also, I just, you know what I'm saying, like a nigga to take charge, you know what I'm saying? Give me the gift, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm talking back to you. But actually, can we talk about that real quick? Because I think that that's the part that can get toxic. Like, I think that women like the idea of, like, because I always see, like, TikToks and YouTube videos and stuff like that where it's like, you know, the nigga, he putting the girl in her place, like, oh, you know, I just caught an attitude, but now he's talking about, no, you gonna sit down and we gonna eat this food and you gonna get some dick and we gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? And women like that because they like a nigga to take charge. But it gets toxic when it goes too far. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gets toxic when it's like, now we're not respecting each other's boundaries, and now we're not listening to each other, and now, you know what I'm saying, all these other things come into it. Like, that's okay, but there still need to be boundaries established. Like, and that's why I think that, like, women really do be wanting submissive relationships, but putting the label submissive on it makes it sound worse. Like it makes it sound bad, and it's not. Like, it's literally what we all really want. We don't want a nigga that we just gonna be able to walk all over. You know what I'm saying? I put my boots on, I'm walking all over. You got pressed on your face and all this. Like, we don't want that. We want a nigga that's gonna protect us. We want a man that's gonna, you know, stand up for us. We want a man that's gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me just touch on this. Like, when I say a nigga puts you in your place, I don't mean like disrespect. Like, it's not that black and white. You know what I'm saying? I like a nigga to, you know what I'm saying, when I'm upset, you know, grab me up and be like, you know, what's wrong? But it doesn't near the point of like controlling. Like I think that we know that there's a difference between between a controlling relationship and somebody that's just like taking charge. You know what I'm saying? Because once it nears the point of disrespect, then you got to cut it off. But before it can even get there, that's why it's important to establish boundaries. And I can, you know, touch more on that in a different kind of video, but I just wanted to, I feel like that ties into the whole submissive dominant thing, because when all, you know, women, like I never met a woman, and there probably are women that don't, but I personally have never met a woman that don't like a nigga like that. You know what I'm saying? Like when we think of a relationship, we want somebody that's gonna, you know, get us together a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We like the feeling of like, what is it called? Like when a nigga make you feel small, like I'm pretty sure that there's a actual word for it, but when a nigga just makes you feel like he's in control, like you know what I'm saying? Like we like shit like that. But instead of calling it what it is, we don't want to feel like we've come so far from the Victorian system and feminism and all of this other stuff that now we got to go back to that. You're not going back to that, because there's a way to operate in a submissive dominant relationship without being belittled, without somebody being condescending towards you, without all the narcissism and all of that bad shit. Like there's a way to operate in that relationship and still maintain your sense of self and still maintain like what you've built yourself up to be. Because I'm somebody who reads books, I work out, I help people. I'm not gonna lose all of that just because I get with somebody who, you know what I mean? And I need to be with a smart nigga. Like I cannot be with somebody who I ask how they feel about mass incarceration. They say, So if you guys like this video, I can talk more about the in control kind of thing, but I don't want to make this too long because I don't need y'all clicking through my shit. Just kidding. So make sure you guys like this video. Most importantly, comment and subscribe so that I can see what kind of videos y'all like. If y'all just hate these, because everybody flocked to my worst sex experience videos. Y'all are nasty. All of y'all. Especially you watching this. You're nasty. And you know it. I'm just kidding. But thank you guys so much for supporting me this far. We on the road to 100 subscribers. I'm at like 88 right now. So if you could tell your cousin, so your cousin can tell your cousin, and they can tell their cousin that's in jail, because you know niggas in jail is on social media too. We ain't excluding them. So we can get to 100. And I appreciate y'all so much. I'm excited to see where this YouTube thing gonna take me. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.